Some crimes leave behind more questions than answers, and those are the ones that never truly end. The year was almost over. In a quiet residential neighborhood in Setagaya, Tokyo, a place known for its tree-lined streets, its peace, its safety, families were preparing for the new year. Decorations glittered in windows. Children laughed. The smell of food drifted through the cold night air. But in one small ordinary house on a narrow lane, something had gone terribly, horribly wrong. The Miyazawa family had gone to bed like any other night. Mikio Miyazawa, 44, a company employee. His wife, Yasuko, 41. Their daughter, Niina, 8. Their son, Ray, 6. For people. A whole world. They would never wake up. Sometime during that cold December night, an intruder slipped into their home. What followed was an act of extreme, senseless violence. All 4 members of the family were murdered, stabbed and beaten. The children were killed in their beds, still in their pajamas, still wrapped in the warmth of sleep. But here is what makes this case not just a tragedy, but a mystery that would haunt Japan for over 2 decades. The next morning, a relative came to check on the family. The door was unlocked. That was strange. She stepped inside and called out. No answer. That was stranger. And then she saw it. What she found inside that house was so horrifying that she collapsed. Police were called. Investigators arrived. And what they discovered would shake the entire nation. The family was dead, all 4 of them brutally murdered. But that wasn't all. The killer had stayed. This is where the story turns from tragedy into something deeply unsettling. The killer didn't flee immediately after the murders. He stayed in the house for hours. He used the family's toilet. He ate their food. Investigators found partially eaten snacks and meals. He sat at their computer. He even napped, apparently on the couch. He moved through the house as if it were his own, with a terrifying calmness. As if he belonged there. As if he had not just killed 4 innocent people, including 2 small children, only hours before. When police entered, they found his footprints throughout the house. Size 26.5 centimeters shoes. Specific. Traceable, or so they thought. He had left his hat, a beanie-style cap with a distinctive logo. He had left gloves. He had left DNA, hair, skin cells, even fecal matter from the toilet he used. And yet, he was never caught. Japan's National Police Agency threw enormous resources at this case. It became one of the most intensely investigated crimes in Japanese history. The DNA collected from the scene was analyzed and reanalyzed. Police had a clear genetic profile of the killer, his blood type, a detailed DNA map. By modern standards, it was a goldmine of evidence. The hat he left behind was traced. It was a military-style cap connected to a U.S. Army shop. Investigators began to wonder, could the killer have had ties to America? Or lived abroad? Parasites found in the killer's fecal sample were exotic, the kind found in regions of Southeast Asia or South America. This suggested he had lived outside Japan or traveled extensively. His fingerprints were taken from the scene. His shoe size was known. His face was partially reconstructed through forensic science. And still, nothing. No match in Japanese databases. No match in international databases. No arrest. No name. No face behind the crime. The killer had walked into that home, murdered a family, eaten their food, used their bathroom, rested under their roof, and then walked back into the world as if he had never existed. 1 year passed. Then 5. Then 10. Japan does not have a statute of limitations on murder. The case remained open, always open, a wound that would not close. Every few years, police would release new information to the public, hoping someone, somewhere, remembered something. Composite sketches were updated as forensic technology improved. In 2015, 15 years after the murders, investigators re-examined the DNA using cutting-edge technology and determined the killer was likely of mixed ethnic heritage, possibly part European and part East Asian. In 2020, on the 20th anniversary of the murders, Japanese police held a press conference. They released updated information. They appealed to the public once more. The case files were reviewed. The DNA was reprofiled. New forensic techniques were applied to the old evidence. Still nothing. Niina would have been 28 that year. Rei would have been 26. Mikio and Yasuko would have been grandparents perhaps. Instead, their house stood silent, eventually demolished, but the memory of what happened inside it impossible to tear down. Who was this person? Why the Miyazawa family? Were they chosen at random? Did the killer know them? There is no known motive, no robbery, no clear connection, no apparent reason. Why did he stay so long? Was he disturbed? Arrogant? Was he injured and unable to leave quickly? Did he simply feel no fear? Where did he go? Back to a country abroad? Is he still alive? Does he live a normal life somewhere right now, eating breakfast, walking to work, while an entire family exists only in photographs? The DNA sits in Japanese police databases, waiting. Someday, if the killer or a close blood relative commits a crime somewhere in the world and is swabbed, the answer could come in seconds. But that day has not yet come.